we had the moment we've all been waiting for. Shedeur Sanders finally got to start an NFL game. The entire world wants to know what Mel Kiper thought. It is no secret, Mel. You were a believer in Shedeur. You never stopped feeling that way. Now he is 1-0, the first Cleveland Browns quarterback to start 1-0 in this millennium. What was your reaction, first and foremost, Mel, to Shedeur's start?
Mel Kiper had warned the National Football League about Shedeur Sanders long before the spotlight ever found him. His message echoed through draft rooms and fan forums everywhere. It wasn't just commentary. It was a declaration that carried weight. Kiper's voice, strong and unapologetically passionate, challenged the very foundation of the evaluation process. And Shedeur Sanders wasn't the only prospect he ever praised. For decades, Kiper has shaped the pre-draft world, identifying talent before anyone else could see it. But this time he went further. He put his own reputation on the line, stating without hesitation that Sanders was the best quarterback in his class and warning teams that passing on him would be a mistake they would regret. The warning was issued. The league hesitated. Doubt lingered. They ran every test, checked every metric, and still they overlooked him. But now, the proof, shocking, undeniable, and right in front of everyone, has arrived. Sanders' debut as the starting quarterback for the Cleveland Browns was far more than a single game. It was the culmination of everything Kiper had said. In that defining moment, Sanders ended a losing streak that had haunted Browns rookie quarterbacks for decades. He stepped onto the field and delivered a decisive win, showing the same poise, precision, and surgical accuracy Kiper had believed in from the start. Every trait he praised was on full display the moment Sanders
happy for him, for the
chance.
Cleveland Browns, and obviously the defense. Myles Garrett's ready to set the NFL record. They couldn't block him. There's three things. You talk about, in baseball, what did they say at Bull Durham? You remember, Granny. What do you throw the ball? Yeah, hit the ball, you catch the ball and all that. And in football, it's really very simple, right? It's BTC, blocking, tackling, and concentration. That's what I say, blocking, tackling, and concentration. And to me, when you think about this game, they couldn't block him. You can't beat him if you can't block him. But in terms of Shedeur, the operations for a young quarterback, when you see quarterbacks running up, clapping, and then the time's ticking down, and you got to delay a game, or you got to take a timeout, or you end up the game with one timeout left or no timeouts left because the operations weren't good. And he looks a little confused out there. He looks like a deer in headlights. I never saw that. I didn't see it against Baltimore when he was getting hit of the whole second half. So I think the poise, the confidence by playing in a lot of games in college, both at Jackson State and at Colorado, has helped him.
This is the story of a dramatic, high-stakes warning that was ignored by many, only to be proven right in the most spectacular way imaginable. That warning didn't come from outsiders or media speculation. It came after just 3 days of first-team practice, issued by a veteran inside the building, someone responsible for shaping the team itself. And now, there is no debate left. The prophecy has unfolded exactly as foretold. It is official. Shedeur Sanders has arrived, and the organizations that dismissed him have now been put on notice. To understand the weight of this moment, you have to rewind to the chaos of the pre-draft process. Those final days were filled with noise, uncertainty, and endless shifting predictions. In that environment, Mel Kiper Jr., a name that defines draft analysis, found himself increasingly isolated for his stance on Sanders. While the quarterback conversation grew fragmented and unpredictable, with several big names dominating headlines and projections, Kiper remained clear, unwavering, and absolutely certain in his evaluation. Despite the buzz surrounding multiple passers expected to go higher, Kiper kept pushing Sanders to the forefront. His advocacy never stopped, even as most analysts ranked Sanders behind others. And when Sanders finally stepped into his first NFL game, the pressure was immense. He inherited a struggling team in the middle of the season, a situation that would rattle most rookies before they even took a snap. But what stood out immediately wasn't a flashy highlight or a single explosive moment. It was his calm, unshakable command of the game's most complex operational details, something Kiper later highlighted in his detailed post-game breakdown. These small, disciplined decisions built the psychological foundation for a smooth, mature transition into the unforgiving pace of professional football. And then there was the accuracy, Kiper's biggest point from the start. It wasn't just good, it was surgical. Every throw from a clean pocket carried the same disciplined, unerring precision that Kiper had once described. In his words, Sanders operated like a surgeon, and on that field, the comparison finally made perfect sense.
And certainly, I think when you think about the plays that he made down the field, we talk about accuracy with him. That was the thing with him. He's so accurate. He can be a surgeon. If you just give him a fortress in front of him, give him some time, he can be a surgeon. And some of the throws he made, and he only had the one sack where he almost got it back to the line of scrimmage. It wasn't an 8, 9, 10-yard loss. It was, 2 yards, and he almost got it back to the line of scrimmage. He got the ball out. He showed touch. When he had to let it rip, he did. He had the one bad throw when the linebacker sunk in the hook zone, and he picked it off. Okay, that happens. Baker had a bad pick against the Bills and turned that game a couple weeks ago. It all happens. They're going to learn from mistakes. In order to get better, you got to make mistakes. And you learn from those mistakes. And he'll keep making them. And he's going to have uneven performances. He'll have some good, bad, and ugly. That's just the nature of being a rookie quarterback in this league who never played with the ones, right? But I think for Shedeur, I feel good because everything I see with him, he looked like an NFL starting quarterback. And I think that's the most important thing you can say about a rookie in this league.
The analysis highlighted a crucial element of Sanders' performance, his ability to neutralize negative plays before they became damaging. Even on the lone sack he took, he scrambled backward just enough to reduce the loss to a minimal 2 yards instead of allowing a disastrous drop. It was a small moment, but it revealed something far more important. An instinctive grasp of situational football that many rookies simply don't possess. But while the win generated excitement across the entire team, it also sparked an unexpected point of frustration inside the locker room. In the middle of a celebration built around a rookie quarterback leading the team to a breakthrough victory, the head coach made a decision that stunned players and staff alike. When a moment came to hand out the game ball, it was not given to Shedeur Sanders. Instead, it went to defensive star Myles Garrett. No one questioned Garrett's impact. His contributions were undeniable and absolutely deserving of recognition. Yet the feeling throughout the room was clear. Passing over Sanders in that historic moment was a significant misstep. It felt like the coach had overlooked a chance to acknowledge not just a strong performance, but a milestone that carried meaning for the entire franchise. And the significance was impossible to ignore. Sanders became the first Browns quarterback since 1995 to win his first career start, ending a drought that had spanned nearly 3 decades. Before him, no Browns rookie had managed to do it. The rarity of that accomplishment only added weight to the argument that the moment should have been recognized properly and that the magnitude of what Sanders achieved deserved to be celebrated.
I never go into anything overconfident, where it's a game. My high school Calvert Hall, when we were winning championship, I didn't go in any of those games like, oh, we're going to win this game, or I go in nervous about every game and about every player I like. I will never, Josh Allen, same way, never going to ever do, never will you ever see me do a victory lap. I always consider myself, and Greeny knows this, I consider myself a defense attorney for a lot of young players who are unfairly criticized. So yeah. I always tell Green out in draft day, it's like, that's what you feel like, a defense attorney, because you get all this craziness thrust upon these players, and a lot of it's just complete.
Shedeur Sanders' sensational and historic debut has come to an end, yet the message it delivered is still echoing across the league. With his arrival, the entire trajectory of the franchise has been reshaped dramatically and irreversibly. The warning Mel Kiper Jr. issued, once brushed aside by a skeptical league, has now become one of the defining truths of the season. Everything he promised about Sanders is materializing in real time. The poise, the accuracy, the meticulous operation of an offense, and the natural leadership that commands the huddle with authority. For the organization, the next step is a 2-part mission that requires clarity and absolute commitment. First, they must fully embrace Sanders as their franchise quarterback. No wavering, no second thoughts, no searching for alternatives or slipping back into old patterns. Second, they must build around him with intention and precision. That means adding dynamic wide receivers capable of elevating his surgical accuracy and unlocking his full playmaking potential. It also means making a serious investment in the offensive line, creating the fortress that Kiper emphasized, a structure designed to protect him and allow him to operate at his highest level. But perhaps the most pressing issue is the philosophical disconnect within the coaching staff. That divide needs to be addressed immediately. Sanders deserves a head coach and offensive coordinator who believe in him fully, support his growth without hesitation, and construct an offensive system tailored specifically to his strengths. Only in that kind of environment can the team nurture real championship aspirations and unlock everything Sanders is capable of becoming.